The NBA is rigged. It's a popular theory among sports conspiracists that's not only exclusive to the NBA, but to all professional sports. Did you know that the 4 major sports leagues are classified as sports entertainment, just like the WWE? They can technically fix games all they want with zero legal risk. Here's 5 times we think the NBA may have interfered with the outcomes of major events. 1. The 2002 Western Conference Finals game. 6 between the Los Angeles Lakers and Sacramento Kings is infamous. The Lakers, facing elimination, miraculously pulled off a win, thanks in part to a flurry of fouls called against the Kings. Fans cried foul over the officiating, suggesting it favored the Lakers, a more marketable team for the NBA Finals. The staggering number of free throws awarded to the Lakers, especially in the fourth quarter, raised eyebrows. Was it just poor refereeing or something more sinister? Then there's Game 7, where the Kings had 31 free throws to the Lakers' 27, but still lost. Some argue the damage was done in Game 6, setting the stage for a Lakers victory. Enter Tim Donaghy, the disgraced former NBA referee. In 2007, he shocked the sports world by admitting to betting on games he officiated. His allegations that referees were influenced to extend playoff series for higher revenues added fuel to the fire. Donaghy claimed that referees were unofficially encouraged to make calls that favored bigger market teams, thus affecting game outcomes. These allegations, especially in light of the 2002 Western Conference Finals, paint a picture of a league where games aren't just contests of skill, but also of marketability and revenue. Critics argue that if the NBA can influence outcomes, it compromises the sport's integrity. Supporters of the NBA counter that refereeing is inherently subjective and that there's no concrete evidence of orchestrated rigging. Whether one sees it as rigged or just flawed, it's a saga that keeps basketball fans, conspiracy theorists, and critics engaged in heated discussion. But before we continue, please make sure to like and subscribe for the YouTube algorithm. 2. The Chris Paul Veto picture. Chris Paul, one of the premier point guards of his era, all set to join Kobe Bryant on the Los Angeles Lakers. It was a blockbuster deal, a potential game changer. But then, NBA Commissioner David Stern drops a bombshell. He vetoes the trade. The official reason? Basketball reasons. But what does that even mean? This decision sent shockwaves through the NBA. Fans and analysts alike were baffled. Some cried foul, alleging the NBA was manipulating outcomes for its benefit. The veto not only altered the course of Chris Paul's career, who later joined the LA Clippers, but also raised questions about the league's integrity. Here's where it gets juicy. The NBA at that time owned the New Orleans Hornets, Paul's team. So when Stern nixed the trade, it wasn't just a commissioner stepping in. It was an owner blocking a move. Conflict of interest much? This move fed into the narrative of the NBA being rigged, that the league controls too much, shaping team rosters and potentially even game outcomes to serve its larger narratives and financial interests. To some, it's a case of the NBA protecting its parity and ensuring one team doesn't become too dominant. To others, it's a glaring example of behind-the-scenes manipulation, adding fuel to the conspiracy theories that the NBA is more about entertainment value and less about fair competition. 3. The 1985 Draft Lottery. The 1985 NBA Draft Lottery not only introduced the world to a new era of basketball, but also sparked one of the most enduring conspiracy theories in sports, the cold envelope theory, further fueling the NBA rigged allegations. The backdrop is cinematic. The NBA was in dire need of a resurgence, and Patrick Ewing was the golden ticket. The big market New York Knicks desperately needed a savior, and Ewing was the perfect fit. Then came the Draft Lottery, a spectacle of chance, with the fate of franchises hanging on the random drawing of envelopes. Here's where it gets intriguing. The theory goes that the NBA, particularly Commissioner David Stern, fixed the lottery to ensure Ewing landed in New York. How? By chilling one specific envelope, the Knicks, before the draw, making it slightly colder and thus identifiable to the touch. When Stern reached into the tumbler of envelopes, the story suggests he felt for the cold one, ensuring the Knicks would get the first pick. The visual evidence? A moment where an envelope is seemingly thrown against the side of the drum, perhaps intentionally, to create a crease, making it further identifiable. To skeptics and conspiracy enthusiasts, This was no mere coincidence. It was a calculated move, orchestrated by the NBA, to elevate its most lucrative market, thereby boosting league ratings and revenue. The cold envelope theory is often cited as a classic example of the NBA's alleged manipulation, supposedly pulling strings behind the scenes to shape the league's narrative and outcomes. On the flip side, there's a chorus of rationalists and NBA defenders who dismiss this as mere folklore. They argue that no conclusive evidence has ever surfaced to support this claim, viewing it as a fantastical conspiracy theory. Despite the lack of irrefutable proof, the cold envelope theory has cemented its place in NBA lore. 4. The 1993 Western Conference Finals. Game 7 between the Seattle Supersonics and the Phoenix Suns is another focal point in the discussion of the NBA being rigged. The game is infamous for the Suns shooting an astonishing 64 free throws, a number that raised more than a few eyebrows and contributed to a narrative of league manipulation. This incident is often cited as evidence by those who believe the NBA orchestrates outcomes to favor more marketable finals matchups. In this case, Charles Barkley versus Michael Jordan. The theory goes that the NBA, eager to capitalize on the star power of Barkley and Jordan, influenced the outcome of the Suns-Sonics series to ensure a ratings goldmine for the finals. Supporters of this theory point to the lopsided number of free throws as a glaring indication of bias. They also note that promotional material featuring Barkley and Jordan had already been produced before the Suns officially made it to the finals, which they interpret as a sign of predetermined outcomes. However, there are counter-arguments. Skeptics argue that while the number of free throws was unusually high, it could be attributed to the Sonics' aggressive defensive strategy and the Suns' ability to draw fouls. They also point out that pre-producing promotional material for various potential matchups is standard practice in broadcasting, not a sign of conspiracy. Despite these counter-arguments, the 1993 WCF Game 7 remains a hotly debated topic to this day. 5. Draymond Green's suspension. The suspension of Draymond Green during the 2016 NBA Finals is a pivotal moment often discussed in the context of the NBA being rigged. This incident not only had a significant impact on the outcome of the series, but also fueled ongoing debates about the league's impartiality and the integrity of its disciplinary actions. In Game 4 of the Finals between the Golden State Warriors and the Cleveland Cavaliers, Draymond Green, a key player for the Warriors, became entangled in a controversy. He was involved in an altercation with LeBron James, which led to Green striking James in the groin area. This act was the tipping point in a series of playoff incidents involving Green, resulting in him accruing enough flagrant foul points to trigger an automatic suspension for Game 5. This suspension was met with polarized reactions. Critics of the NBA saw it as evidence of the league's manipulation. They argued that suspending a crucial player like Green was a strategic move to extend the series, thereby increasing viewer interest and revenue. The Warriors were leading 3-1 at the time, and Green's absence in Game 5 was seen as a deliberate handicap, potentially shifting the series' momentum. On the other hand, supporters of the NBA's decision pointed to Green's history of flagrant fouls and the need for the league to maintain discipline and player safety. They argued that the suspension was justified, regardless of the timing or the stakes of the game. The aftermath of Green's suspension was dramatic. The Warriors, who had a historic 73-win season, ultimately lost the series in 7 games. This turnaround fueled further speculation about whether the suspension was a calculated move to influence the finals outcome. Whether viewed as a just decision or a suspicious act of interference, Green's suspension remains a contentious topic. It serves as a focal point for discussions about fairness in the NBA, the influence of league decisions on game outcomes, and the perennial debate over whether the NBA is rigged for entertainment and business purposes. Well, y'all, that's all we got for now. Let us know if you agree with us in the comments, and make sure to like and subscribe for more NBA content.